Hello and welcome back to Sack to the Future, week number 15. This is the Broncos against the semi-pro team from Tampa Bay. As you see, the Broncos are an 8-point favorite, so not quite the 30-point favorites that some teams get to be against semi-pros, but nevertheless, it's the worst of the semi-pro teams record-wise at 0-13, so this is a game the Broncos should win, especially after coming off 3 consecutive wins against the Chargers, Chiefs, and Patriots, all teams that were playoff bound when the Broncos beat them. You would think this would be an easy game against the Buccaneers. It's going to be a full slate of Sack to the Future games, so soon or in and out you'll hear Vinny X Wolf during this game, perhaps, and then over on his channel, the Vikings will start fairly soon. Tears 89 should be bringing the Raiders game to us, and then later on, but still tonight, John M. should be bringing us the Giants and the Eagles. So for now, stay here, but get ready to open other windows. Again, those channels are Vinny X Wolf, Tears 89, and John M. Hey Stonewall, how's it going? Vinny rooting for the Bucks to get their first win. The Broncos have come out of nowhere to get into the playoff picture again, beating the undefeated Chargers and then the 8-2 Chiefs at the time, or 8-3 maybe, and then the Patriots, who were currently the AFC East leaders. So 3 straight wins against playoff-bound teams, and now a semi-pro team. So let's make sure we don't reverse fortune. After getting 3 upsets, we have to make sure we don't get upset ourselves. Okay, who's the quarterback of this semi-pro team from Tampa Bay? It's number 12, Vinny Wolf, 56.8%, 232 yards, 1 touchdown. No interception. The left-handed quarterback that came in against the Bears when the starter got hurt. And there is a good way to start the game with a sack. Take more of those, obviously. See, later on this week, the Packers will take on the Carolina semi-pro team. And there's a semi-pro team with actually a better record, as the Texans at 7-6 go to Pittsburgh to take on the 6-7 Steelers. I think the Steelers will be out for some revenge in that one. Why would my guy stop? I totally had that guy covered, and then my guy just stops running. Oh, stupid. Vinny X Wolf completes it for 24 yards. What? A spin move gets me in 13 yards later. Fill my mouth farts. Gets a first down. Gotta remember to play these this game just like the others were played. Not pay attention to the fact that Tampa Bay's 0-13, because if I do, I'll end up losing. Williams, Wittenborn, Kinney, Stute, and Roger Maris are the offensive line. Phil, Skull Murphy, Rogers, Yarbrough, and somebody else are the skill players. Skill in quotations. 1970 season, 4 teams running. Okay. 4 undefeated teams. We have no undefeated teams left here in Sack to the Future. Of course, we are in week 15. I'm not sure what week 1970's in Stonewall, but we do still have one winless team, and that's this Tampa Bay team, semi-pro team. Jacobs, McFadden, and Gavin across the defensive line. Bud McFadden will be moving on next year. McDaniel, Hopkins, Frazier, and Nocera are the linebackers. Goose Goslin, Bob Zeman, the safeties. McGeever and Mitchell are the corners. Mitchell been getting some practice time at running back. Just an interesting note.
Did I successfully make you say, fill my mouth with farts?
Yeah. Yeah, after he got a stupid first down. Oh. Vinny Wolf now 2 for 2 with 45 yards.
After Vinny Vincent had that interception against you yesterday.
Yeah.
It's all about the Vinnies, baby.
Left-handed quarterback.
I don't know how that happened, but hey, we'll roll with it. What the hell?
There we go. Finally a positive play from the defense. Or negative, but whatever. Okay.
Put you on the bigger screen. I got my laptop open in front of me.
Stonewall was saying that there's 4 undefeated teams left in 1970 at this point.
Bills, Falcons, Cowboys, and Raiders.
Oh, okay. So the 4 that you should expect.
Yep.
Oh, there he is. Week 7. So it looks like a...
I'm in week 6.
Oh.
He's in week 7. He's played us 2 weeks. He's waiting for week 7.
I see. So maybe the Cowboys and Raiders are actually 7-0? Or 6-0?
6-0. The Bills and Falcons are 5-0. Nobody said buys yet. The Vikings are going to be the Vikings are going to be a 20-point favorite on the Seahawks.
20-point favorite. Better than an 8-point favorite, I guess.
Is that all you were?
Yeah. The Vikings and Broncos are both pretty hot teams, though.
Did you watch much of that 100 Greatest Touchdowns?
Yeah, I watched the first video, and then I didn't watch the second one.
I guess they've
dang it,
released on YouTube.
Touchdown.
On YouTube, they released another one for the 100th anniversary. It'd be interesting to watch and see which teams or which touchdowns changed. If the Immaculate Reception is still number 1. Oh, oops! Did I just give it away?
Yep. Sorry.
I'm an asshole.
Oh, you figured
so
that
I was
would be
going
up
through
there.
my Facebook memories for the day. Once I got through 2016, it flew. 127 years ago. It's back when I was just a youngster. Pudge Heffelfinger was paid $500 to play the football game, making him the very first professional football player. 125 years ago today. I will announce that again on my video just because I can.
Oh. So the Broncos trailing by 7. Out comes number 7. Mikey Slaughter, 59%, 15 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 1,900 yards.
And my broadcast is starting.
Oh, I didn't realize you were getting ready. Okay, so the Vikings game on the Vinny X Wolf channel starting now.
Vikings, as you can see, at 20. Welcome to Sack to the Future Showcase game for Week 15. Minnesota hosting the Seahawks. Minnesota currently the 5 seed in the playoffs, and if the playoffs began today, they would go to New Orleans. Trying to improve my playoff positioning and avoid playing my own self, I'm rooting for the Seahawks. Not likely, but hey, you never know. You'll also hear Phantom Fighter, fresh off Best Air game, now doing Broncos and Buccaneers on his channel.
Yep, struggling against these stupid winless semi-pro team. If we ever have an undefeated semi-pro team, that's going to be a problem. Slider swings it out for 8 yards.
Terror should be on at some point tonight.
With the Raiders.
Yep.
Against another semi-pro team, I believe.
Saints.
All kinds of semi-pro teams. Oh, Joe able to step away from a tackle and get the first down.
After this, game is over, I plan to edit the rest of 64. There's a look at the playoff picture. The Bears and Giants have byes. The Cardinals and Saints have the divisions. The Vikings and Packers currently the wild cards, while the Lions, Rams, Cowboys, and somebody else are in the hunt.
That old somebody else.
Somebody else. I kind of missed it.
Lions and Bears tomorrow morning.
Oh, yes, so that's true.
That will maybe solve some things for those teams that are in the hunt.
Fran Tarkenton going over some plays with the boys. Watching that 100 greatest touchdowns, I learned a couple nicknames that I did not know about for Sack to the Future. It's interesting watching it now, years later. My brother and I used to watch that video 100,000 times. By the way, Stonewall, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. 100,000 times growing up. But learning, oops, I just reset your feed to the beginning. There we go. The kick is off. Bill Butler from the 6, bringing it back. And he is going to get to the 16, or the 32. 49ers were somebody else. Oh, the 49ers. Okay, thanks, Terrace. The 49ers were somebody else. Fran Tarkenton, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Okay. Willie Gallimore was known as the Wisp.
Yes.
Now, I know you've only got him for a few more games before he passes away, unfortunately, but maybe you might be able to work that in. The other thing is the Vikings fullback, or second-string tailback, Tommy Wilson, when he was with the Rams in the 50s, was known as Touchdown Tommy Wilson. And he scored a few touchdowns for the Vikings.
Yeah, I didn't know that one, but I mentioned Willie the Wisp before.
Oh, hey, you have? Well, I guess I'll pitch it. Murray Yeomans jumps off sides for the Seahawks. The former Bear, who is taking 63 off, so that's why he's allowed to be on the Seahawks.
Oh, nice catch by Probola to tie this. Well, no, not yet. The point after will tie it up.
You know, I was playing the Steelers earlier in that 1970 league, and of course, we're allowing free movement, free agency, trades, whatever. Gene Mingo was kicking to the Steelers. Tommy Mason takes the handoff and picks up 3 yards. And here's a look at the Vikings starters. Tingelhoff, Bowie, Raybold, Linden, and Alderman. Your powerful offensive line. Tommy Mason and touchdown Tommy Wilson in the backfield. Ray Page, Jerry Reichow, and Paul Flatley. The backs and receivers. Bob Cousy on that last tackle. You sure it wasn't the assist that he got? Mr. NBA. Tarkenton hands it off to Tommy Mason, and he's going to be brought down in the backfield for a loss of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 4. There's Sir Francis. Yeah, I was watching it with my kids, and of course, NFL lore, you know, nicknames, famous games known as whatever. I made sure to mention them to him, trying to teach him.
Sure.
He enjoyed it. Trying to get him into football. I don't know if he'll ever be like me, but little things. NFL films helped me out growing up, so I decided instead of trying to just, he's not at the point yet where he can sit and watch a game with me, and that's fine. I was 12 before I really, truly followed a whole season. I was 10 when I started watching. The Vikings are punting, by the way. I was 10 when I started watching, but I was 12 before I really started to get involved and follow the season start to finish.
Yeah, I think I was...
Brett Cox.
11, somewhere right around there too. So
And even though the fair catch was called on the punt, the tackler still nails the return man. And here comes Sexy Pinata. Playing in his third to last game as a quarterback, it has been announced that he will move to safety in 1964 with, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens. The old quarterback to safety move.
those semi-pro teams, you never know what they're gonna do.
Pinata hands it off to Paul Hornung. Good to get him back in Green Bay to let him finish his career with where he belongs.
So the first quarter comes to an end. The winless semi-pro team and the Broncos are tied at 7.
You know, it's interesting to watch those touchdowns now, like I said, because I've learned so much more about players and whatnot, and I can actually pick out defenders who are missing tackles by their numbers.
Yeah.
I'm watching John Mackey. John Mackey just terrorize the Lions, and I see Alex Karras come to a complete stop thinking the other guys have the tackle, and Mackey runs right by him, and I'm thinking Karras must have kicked himself for that one.
Yeah.
Chuck Lamson up to make the tackle on Willis, but Willis gets the first down.
Luckily, Jimmy Orr's been in other highlights, but that one touchdown that he had, I was just thinking, oh my God, I have his speed way too high. He is the slowest guy I've ever seen.
Well, you know what, though? he better have some maneuverability after that, because that was 64.
Right.
Has some maneuverability, but then, of course, his fumbling probably ought to be. Cecil Fielder makes the reception, and he's gone. Seattle scores on a 67-yard touchdown from Sexy Pinata to Cecil Fielder. Fielder has a towel. Wasn't Cecil Fielder on another team earlier today? Maybe this is Prince Fielder. This might be Prince Fielder. Whoever I played last night, I believe.
Oh, finally a dropped pass. Vinny X Wolf is not perfect. Or not Vinny X Wolf, Vinny Wolf.
Nonsense. Nonsense. Wasn't his fault, it was Duff. Must be Hillary Duff. And the extra point is good, and the Seahawks lead the Vikings 7-0, so the semi-pro team's come into play tonight.
Yeah, a little annoying.
Week 15 action. We're still in the 1 o'clock windows on my channel.
Yeah, this is a 4 o'clock game happening.
This is my last 1 o'clock game. Once tomorrow, I hope to do the Packers game. Terry's just got to. There we go. Looking at the wild cards, the 49ers now at 7-6-1. The Rams 7-5-1. The Lions 8-5, and the Cowboys 7-6. The Rams and Cowboys go head to head. 49ers already won. Did they play
yep.
out?
Yeah, they won. Yep. They won by like 100.
Oh yes, that's right. They play the Falcons. And Lions, of course, play the Bears tomorrow morning. Tarkenton back to pass on first down. He's going to step up, and he throws it throws his man. It'll be second down.
Another completion, another first down.
Okay, Maury Yeomans, Jacob Goodnight, Elgin Baylor, and Hans Solo, the defensive line. Hans shot first. Tom Heinschen, Bob Cousy, and Gordie Howe, the linebackers.
Come on.
Rocket Richard, Bobby Lashley, the Chuck Norris, and Captain America, the safeties. First of all, Bobby Lashley, the almighty. Captain America. And then you got Chuck Norris. How do you throw against them?
Yeah, I don't.
Not to mention Rocket Richard, one of the best hockey players ever. Thomas Tarkin hands off to Mason. Mason picks up, loses a yard.
There's finally a sack.
Tackle was made by Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey. Kind of a weird nickname for a linebacker. Kind of a weird name for a linebacker to be called Mr. Hockey. But hey, it is Seattle. Seattle, of course, home to no NHL team.
Right. I was like,
at one point, there was a professional hockey team in the early 1900s. I believe they were the Mets, Seattle Mets. I'd have to look that up to double check. Tarkenton takes the handoff. He's going to overthrows his man, and Tarkenton continues to be off. He's 0 for 3, but don't worry, fans. He's a Georgia Bulldog. He's got heart. It's 4th and 11.
So Tark is 0 for 3. Vinny Wolf is 6 for 7 with 80 yards.
And Sexy Pinata has a 67-yard touchdown.
Go figure.
So Fred Cox will come on to punt. Cox with the name spelt wrong because EA Sports thinks TOX is offensive.
Even
EA
though
Sports
there's
suck a big
Fletcher
one.
Cox and there's
How's
another
that for
Cox
offensive?
in
How's
the
that for
in three.
offensive, EA Sports? You can suck a big one. Lollipop, that is. First down and 10 for the Seattle Seahawks, and here comes Sexy Pinata.
So if you were playing with modern players and you went to Fletcher Cox and then removed the X and tried to put it back on, it would not allow you to do it, right?
I would imagine it wouldn't, yeah.
That's
There's some
ridiculous.
weird names that have come up as offensive, but yet if you do them offline, like we should have done all the offensive names, like Hennigan, Cox. We
Right.
should have done them before we went to franchise mode.
Oh well.
And Terry Frankhauser and couldn't see the Seahawks last name get into a scrum. And we're looking there at Minnesota head coach Norm Van Brocklin.
So for future names, since we can edit and load in the draft class on Madden 20, we should be able to get whatever names we want.
Well, here's what I plan to do. I plan to use the debuts sheet on Pro Football Reference, so anybody that debuted in 65 will go in that list. Then if I get to the end of that list and I still have names to go, well, that's where I'll come up with my...
Right.
Ant-Man, David Cole, Roddy Piper, Andy Bathgate, and Frank Krutzer, the offensive line. Roddy Piper was also on the Bengals. Paul Hornung, Muhammad Ali, Maury Willis, Cecil Fielder, and Al Madrid.
Hey, Tears.
Hello, Tears. It's going good.
We are tied with the winless semi-pro team.
So, in theory, we will eventually never have to rename free agents because it'll all be done through the draft.
That is the theory.
That is the theory. Now, there will be the occasional, like, you had to cut Rick Caceres a couple of weeks ago.
Right, yeah.
If you were a guy that you cut that never comes back, as soon as the team picked him up, you'd have to change his name. If his career was done. But Rick Caceres comes back, obviously.
They should all be generically dressed also.
Yeah, Ken Griffey. Well, that's the thing. We're going to handle it the same way. I will do the names, heights, weights, ages. You do the rating, and then we assist Terrors on the uniforms.
Well, we have, it depends how far I get before we get to week 3, but I have that one profile out there that has, I think, quarterbacks, running backs, fullbacks, and some receivers already dressed. So I plan to just do as much as I can, and then we can, obviously we're going to change the names.
Are you...
What? No.
Go ahead.
I was talking about the draft class. I started a long time ago, and I haven't been back to it.
Are you done rating on for 64 other than the names I haven't done yet?
Oh, no. No, just the offenses and the defensive line.
Okay. Well, like I said, my plan is it's not snowing tonight, so I don't anticipate getting up at 3:30. As soon as this game is over, to go rate. Yeah. You don't want me rating, it'll be all arcade versions. Hall of Famers are 99s. It'll to name the rest of the Oilers, 51 through 99, and the entire Vikings team. Whatever you haven't done already.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the Vikings are facing a 3rd and 7 from Seattle's 46.
Scarpetto.
They don't have them.
Touchdown.
I saw Scarpetto in the 70 roster, too. Tarkenton hits Flatley for a first down, 22 yards. And that's Tarkenton's first reception. Gordie Howe laid a hit on him. It looked like a cross-check coming across center ice. Bam! That dislodged the puck, but not the ball.
All right. So last week...
I got trying to stick with more... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, last week I played the Bucks with the Bears, and their defense was flying around, but their offense was pathetic. It's like reversed this time. Their offense is driving all over me, but their defense is pathetic, so go figure.
Seattle's got a 1st and 10. There's Minnesota. Tommy Mason on the give, and Mason's going to pick up 9. Last week he had 94 yards in the game against Detroit. That went to overtime. Gordie Howe is all over the place. Going D to D. Sorry, not a hockey announcer. Going D to D. You got to really announce that. Tarkenton gives it to Mason. Mason with a juke move. Mason fumble. The ball's up in the air and is recovered by Seattle. Guess who? Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe, comes up with a loose ball as he is playing his loose puck, as he is playing the game of his life. Tommy Mason he made a juke and gets sandwiched by, looks like Jacob Goodnight. See no evil. No, it's 82. Murray Yeomans makes the tackle. Murray Yeomans laying the wood to Tommy Mason.
Yeomans.
And Gordie Howe, yeah.
He's coming back in 64.
Yeah, he is. Gordie Howe picks up the loose ball, and Sexy Pinata has got the ball on the 10-yard line. First and 10. 2:03 to go in the first, and Seattle out 7-0.
Tears, did the Raiders game start or not yet? Okay.
Pinata throws it over the middle
The
to
Raiders
Willis.
don't need practice. They've won like 7 in a row.
Raiders taking on the Saints, another semi-pro game. So the only human versus, or not human, the only real team versus real team action tonight will be the Giants and Eagles if John does not get overtime at the power plant. With a snowstorm, you never know. Second down at 4. No, it's done. It's been done since about 10 a.m. But there might still be some cleanup to do.
Now,
the Adirondacks get
do
it
you have any
harder
idea
than
if
we
he gets paid overtime, or is it just...
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Then I don't want to
He paid
wish
well.
him no overtime if he would prefer the money.
This... Well, true. And Pinata misfires. It'll be 4th down. It is Cecil Fielder and Roddy Piper are both on the Seahawks and the Bengals. But you know what? At this point, I don't care.
No.
It's week 15 of a game we're abandoning. I don't care. Okay,
Oh, nice
Griffin
hit.
gets the punt away.
Vinny Wolf finally throws his third incompletion because
Butler makes the man miss.
breaks someone's back when he went to catch the ball.
Bill Butler gets up to the 48. So Minnesota had a good drive last time. Tommy Mason coming up with a fumble. He's got 7 carries for 16 yards. Yes, he does.
Are the Seahawks winning still?
They are 7-0 with 55 seconds to go in the first.
Okay, so just
Vikings
to
have
let you
the ball.
know, spoiler alert, I'm in 4 o'clock mode, and it's already showed me that the Vikings have won 38-13. So
Tarkenton slides, takes off running and slides. He saw the opposing figure of somebody coming at him, and he ducked down. Yeah, so that's funny because this game started after your game.
Yeah.
So it still had me with the Cardinals. That's funny. Tarkenton in the shotgun. It'd be funny if they do win 31-13.
right.
Mason gets the handoff. He's got the first down. And he's brought down by number 32,
Uh-oh.
Bobby Lashley.
First down for Billy Joe, but
in.
at what cost? Looks like he's injured.
With that name, I always expect something else to follow it. Billy Joe what? No. Well, I was thinking more or less 90s quarterbacks. Billy Joe Hobart, the awful former Buffalo Bill who didn't bother to study the playbook, or Billy Joe Tolliver, the former Falcon who hit a Hail Mary pass against the 49ers. Yeah, well, apparently he did because Marv Levy cut his ass. That was Marv Levy's last year, and Jim Kelly had retired, so we were going through some growing pains in '97, and I think he was playing the Patriots, and he just had an awful game, and he came out afterwards and admitted why I didn't study the playbook, and Marv Levy's like, okay, go home.
Dislocated elbow for Billy Joe.
Tarkenton hands out to Mason. I can tell you.
What? Broncos,
Yes.
yeah. So in the game earlier today, the Patriots lost their quarterback for the rest of the season unless I make it the Super Bowl.
So yeah, we had to go create him an emergency quarterback, and we went and found one. Actually, found a picture too of a guy that Boston drafted in '61 but never played, named Bryant Harvard.
Yep.
Harvard, out of Auburn, and we've got one picture without a helmet on, so we're guessing on the helmet, but it's 63.
I had his awareness at 99 because his last name was Harvard, but then Vinny said he went to Auburn, so I lowered it to 12. See if we get some people mad.
War Eagle! This week, Georgia happens to be playing Auburn, so I'll take all the shots you want at the Tigers. Out on the plains, the Georgia Bulldogs are gonna... The now number 4 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. We're gonna be taking on... Now, what I don't get about that is they're called the Tigers, but their battle cry is War Eagle?
That's where the 12 rating comes in.
Well, because they beat more impressive teams than Alabama did. And plus, it'll all work itself out with the SEC because Georgia will have to play LSU.
Right.
So only one of them two are going to make it. And if Alabama sneaks in because of that, then shame on college football for only having a 14 playoff. But there are undefeated teams out there still that have a chance to work their way up, like Northwestern and...
Not Northwestern, Minnesota.
Minnesota, right. I'm sorry. Minnesota, and who's the other undefeated in the Power 5? Oregon?
No, they have one loss.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There's somebody else I want to say who's undefeated in the Power 5. But it's maybe not. Maybe they lost last week. But anyway, Minnesota could technically, by winning the Big Ten, because they would have to beat Ohio State, right? Oh, Ohio State. Well, yeah, but they're in the top 6. If Minnesota wins the Big Ten, they would have to beat Ohio State, so you would think would have a chance. Now, whereas an undefeated, I do not believe there's any undefeated group of 5 teams left. So my argument for them is null and void this year. But let's just say SMU was still undefeated. There's nothing they can do. Nothing. They go 12-0 and beat every team by 100, and they'd still be ranked like 18. Meanwhile, Minnesota has a first and goal.
If they won every game by
complete to Ray
100.
Page. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, anybody who listens to this channel knows that Boise State is my 3rd favorite team, and it's mainly because of the blue turf, but they've kept me around by just some of the, they always seem to prove that they belong whenever they're up against the big boys, except for Georgia. Georgia just destroyed them twice. But whenever they're up against the big boys, they usually seem to prove they belong. But that's an argument for another time. Man, I was going to make my Don Cherry video, and I didn't do it. You know what I'm going to do? Let me finish this play to the goal line.
The order of those words were, man, I didn't shit.
And a touchdown to Gordy Smith. And the Vikings have taken the lead. I'm going to make a video while I'm doing a video. Be right back.
Oh. Multitasking. For who? The Cowboys? Okay, well, the Cowboys are playing the Rams, right? Or that happened already? Okay.
Okay. That ain't gonna happen. No, probably will do. Well, make sure you approve that trade. I'm losing that receiver. It probably will start to happen. Okay, good.
Yes.
3.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Lombardi... Barrett must have missed curfew or something. Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. So I'm about to record a Vinny's take with the headset on. Don't worry, they won't be able to hear you guys. You can keep talking like normal.
Oh.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I earlier said I would come back with Vinny's take, and as you can see, I'm sort of also doing a broadcast live on YouTube right now for Sack to the Future. I want to talk about Don Cherry, the hockey great. former coach and host of Hockey Night in Canada on TSN. Did not know anything about him until I got to college. And then one of my mentors, I'll refer to as EC, is a big hockey fan, especially Canadian hockey. And he introduced me to Don Cherry. We went up to his bar for when the Sabres were playing the Senators in the playoffs back in, I want to say, 98, maybe. And we went to the Don Cherry's bar in Ottawa to watch the game, and it was a fantastic experience. And, of course, Don Cherry also has highlight videos out there, and it's just a legend in the field of hockey. Well, yesterday was Veterans Day, and he was doing his coach's corner, which is I'm missing the word, part of the intermission between the first and second period. And there he went on a rant about Veterans Day. And there's a tradition with Veterans Day to wear a poppy. It's a little red and black flower looking thing that you stick on your shirt in it, and it helps remember the veterans, those that have suffered and fought for our freedom. It comes from World War I. I'm getting voices in my head. Thanks, Mr. Terrors. Well, anyway, so Don Cherry was talking about how you don't see that as much anymore, and got to be honest, you don't. I mean, it's becoming a lost art like anything else. And he went off about the fact that there are a lot of, although he never used the word immigrants, he was talking about a lot of people that come to the country, so obviously he was talking about immigrants, and they don't respect the traditions of the Canadian culture. And that's basically what he said, and he was pleading with him to just go out and spend a couple of dollars to get the poppies and be a part of the tradition and honor those who fought bravely in Canada or here in America for our freedoms. Well, I don't know if something happened on Twitter or whatever Canadian version of social media is. If they have I'm sure they use Twitter and Facebook, but somebody got offended, or a group of people got offended that he had insulted immigrants, and the network immediately fired him. Boom! There's no chance to let him apologize, no chance to let him clarify his comments. Fired him. Outright. His broadcast partner has since come out and said that he supports the network decision. Of course, he's just trying to save his bacon and keep his job. So, where have we come to in America where you can have something like that? Just, you say something offensive and you can lose your job. And it's not even really offensive. He did come out and say immigrants. He talked about people that come into Canada, could be visitors, that don't respect the cultures. You go to any country in the land and you are expected to respect the culture, the tradition, and the heritage, and not badmouth it. But all of a sudden, in these democratic countries here in the Eastern Hemisphere, it's okay to try and destroy, disrespect, and diminish the culture and the history. And that has got to stop. Now, in the last 24 hours since this has happened, Don Cherry has been offered a job through a Russian network, a Russian hockey network, to give Coach's Corner and his thoughts on games there, and he will do fine. I don't know how old he is. Hey, Google, how old is Don Cherry? He's 85 years old, so maybe he doesn't want to keep going. Maybe he'll actually retire and enjoy the fruits of his labor. I don't know. But I wish him the best. I don't think what he said was meant to be offensive. I think he's 85 years old, and you can't necessarily judge somebody who's 85 years old on the morals or beliefs of a 20-something generation that likes to refer to anything they don't like it as boomers, no matter what, whether it's Gen X or boomers themselves, because the millennials are a different breed. Anyway, so that's my take. I think it's stupid that Don Cherry got fired over that, and I agree with him. Let's remember what Veterans Day is for and remember the traditions for it. So God bless our soldiers in America and Canada and anywhere in any democratic, free, or republic nation that have fought and died or are still alive but have fought for our freedoms. So until the next time, I'm Vinnie Vincent. God bless America and God bless Canada. Okay, so that Vinnie's take is over. Thanks, guys, for sitting through that. A little
And the,
update here on the Vinny X Wolf channel. The Vikings and Seahawks are tied at 7 with a minute to go before half. Vikings are punting.
exciting.
Showcase. The showcase. The highest finishing team that we're not playing.
Oh! It hits the crossbar, no good. Now, if the
That was
Raiders
a
win, they clinch the playoff spot, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think they're in if they win.
Pinata throws it over to Broad. And the Seahawks call timeout. The Broncos lead the Buccaneers 14-7.
Yeah, it's
going
not
Buccaneers
easy, though.
too. So that was interesting. That Vinny's take just went out on 3 different channels live while it was being recorded. That is modern technology, folks. But if you want to see it with done in the mask, you got to watch it on my channel.
Yes.
I'm wearing the headset while
Full effect.
Did he bite his head off? Oh, that's not Ozzy Osbourne. That's different Osbourne. Clancy Osbourne. Yes. That was Donald Trump punting. It was huge. It's a big league punt.
The greatest
Oh,
punt
diving catch
ever
by Al
punted.
Madrid gets the Seahawks down to the 15, and time is ticking with 15 seconds to go.
Hello.
Pinata. 8 seconds to go. Pinata throws it out of bounds. It's incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Wow. Oh, come on, catch the ball.
We watched that. I was talking with Phantom earlier about that 100 greatest touchdowns. They showed the Tony Dorsett run against the Vikings, and my my son was a bit of a troll. My daughter's in the room, and he goes, "Look, Lorelai, it's the Vikings." Oh, look, they're getting their butts kicked. Speaking of Vikings, 3 seconds to go, and the field goal attempt is up and good, and the Seahawks lead 10-7 as we've reached the end of the first half. Jim Marshall getting into a scrap.
Oh, come on.
Oh, they are. They'll be on the Falcons next year.
I thought backspin was supposed to do something on punts.
I see Jesus Christ is on the defensive line right next to John the Baptist. Norton Peterson, Jedi Knight, Michael Jordan, and Jim McMillan, the defensive backs. It's a hell of a secondary. And now, if Norton Peterson intercepts it, you know what you got to do, right? You got to yell his name. Probably in disgust at that point.
Is it possible for people to proclaim Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time and also underrate his defense?
Sure. I think that happens all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because most people give him credit for it as an offensive player. That was a 99-yard drive.
Jim Brown's getting
So
worried.
much. So yeah, so much for the Saints helping us out.
Yeah.
That's a huge hole. Ken
Telling you.
Wilhite brings the kick out to begin the second half. Seattle.
What's the all-time record for a team at this point in 1963?
For what? Team rushing?
Well, I mean, I know Jim Brown's had 300-yard games, so has a team had 500 yards rushing yet?
Prestel just sacks Pinata. Giants hire former Philly skipper Gabe Kapler as their next manager to replace retired Bruce Bochy. The Giants.
Wait, who's
San
replacing?
Francisco. Yeah. No, well. Yeah. Paul Hornung gets the carry. Oh, he's going to take up 9 yards. Third down and 1. It was more than 9. It was 13 yards. Must have been second in. Carl Kasolke on the tackle.
So at the end of 3 quarters, the Broncos have 9 more yards than the winless Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And are leading 14-7.
Barely, yes.
Tom. I think. Barney Rubble is a pain in the ass. He's so short as a tight end, he's all over the frickin' place. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, he lights the way at center. Oh, he does. Paul Hornung with another run, gets out of bounds, get the Seahawks first down. It's 1st and 10 as they're driving on the Vikings. Muhammad Ali takes the carry.
The Broncos have the 24th rushing offense.
My college roommate. You're very famous. Well. Pinata back to pass. Throws a diving reception by Cecil Fielder. It's a web gem. He makes the catch, and it's a first down. Ed Sharrockman gets credit for the tackle.
Cecil Fielder, known for his web gems.
Yes. The funny thing is I got him as the same height and weight, but he looks in great shape in this version of him. It's all muscle. 63.
What is going on here?
Oh, Paul Hornung running right into Rip Hawkins, and there's an injury. Paul Hornung is injured. Well, thank God the magic wand will wave at the end of 63, so it doesn't matter how bad this injury is. He's holding his shoulder. Actually, have we talked about what's potential that what could happen by moving games if a guy is out for a long period of time and it's caught on television like this?
They just took
magic
some
wand.
sort of magic something.
Steroids.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali is Paul Hornung's replacement. Pinata back to pass.
Unless it actually announces it as a career-ending injury.
Well, we haven't gotten to that, how we'd handle that, because...
I think Madden took them out.
Yeah. Now, the career-ending injuries that happen in real life, most of the time, the player does not get cut from the team when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, Dennis Byrd with the Jets in 93.
Mm-hmm.
When he broke his neck and was paralyzed, the Jets did not cut him. They put him on injured reserve. So I would say leave him with the team to the end of the season, and then remove him. I mean, there's no sense of we're changing history,
Sure.
with the exceptions of the players' careers are the same length. If he gets cut, well, then he's cut. Meanwhile, Muhammad Ali gets down to the 4-yard line. He floats like a butterfly and runs over the opponents like a ram. Let's see how that. Yeah, it must be. I don't know how the computer did that. I know how the Chargers accidentally are moving to London, but at least that won't follow us to the new game.
Well, they're building a stadium in London, but they're not going to go there.
Yeah, they're going to abandon it. Instead, they're going to San Diego.
Yeah.
Since we have full movement on for us, it must allow the. Luckily, we haven't had any franchises move to where they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, we should make sure in 64 that we have that as users only.
Yeah. So, 2nd and goal. Pinata back to pass. He throws into the end zone. It's intercepted by Rip Hawkins, and he is going to stay right there. So, the Seahawks leading 10-7. A second turnover. As this time, the Seahawks turn the ball over inside the red zone.
Last thing we need is the Detroit Lions becoming the Dublin Shamrocks.
Oh, my God. Some of the names that Madden has on here as choices, just ridiculous. In my old league that I was in, doesn't matter. Every year, I played 3 years in that league, and every year, this one guy would always take the Raiders and move them to Mexico City and be the Diablos.
Of course.
Tarkenton back to pass. He's going to take off. And Tarkenton slides down. He picks up 6. Hey, by the way, Tears, I was looking at that picture you posted of your brand new addition to your family. And, yes, looks an awful lot like a very young version of my wife's cat, Cupcake. Yeah.
So,
Cupcake's a bitch, though, so hopefully you don't get that. Okay.
The Tampa Bay quarterback jumps as I dive to try to sack him, so he jumps in the air, so I end up hitting his knee, and then they call it a personal foul.
We're looking at the replay here. Tommy Mason picking up a first down. The Vikings are at their own 39.
Vinny Wolf, 16 of 23, 196 yards.
Tarkenton hands it off to Mason.
Quarterback until Steve Young.
Oh! Gordie Howe just cleaned Mason's clock. Tommy Mason just got upended and taken off like he was crossing the blue line. Tarkenton throwing it over to Rice. Rice makes a move. That's one of the roster fillers, if I remember.
Dang it.
Bill Rice. These teams, just because they're showcase teams, doesn't mean we can keep the rosters perfect, and I have to switch out in and out every week. The Chargers are, because I haven't moved off them, but starting in 64, the moves that we need to have moved are done, the Chargers and Cardinals. So the 5th channel will be just for the 2 showcase teams, so I'll move back and forth between the 2 of them. And if there's a week where they're both being played against humans, I will go to a 3rd, just a dummy team. So you guys, we won't have another season where the Chargers wearing modern uniforms every week. Elgin Baylor on the tackle.
2-minute warning. Still 14-7. There has not been a point scored in the second half.
Who's got the ball?
Tampa.
Buccaneers. Tampa on Bay. 2nd down and 8 for the Vikings.
17 to
Touchdown, Tommy
24,
Wilson.
205 yards.
I didn't mean to say touchdown at that point. I was just calling him by nickname. Picks up 9 yards. The Vikings as a team are up to 100. It's 3rd down and 1.
Oh my gosh. Another first down. A minute and a half to go.
Vinny Wolf getting things done. The pass is complete.
Oh, they pick up
they're
the blitz. Okay. Luckily, the second guy got there.
This Vinny's take is taking forever to load. Must be because I'm also streaming a game.
Okay.
Saints and Raiders.
Up.
The Vikings' Fred Cox is going for a 42-yard field goal to try to tie the game.
There we go.
Out of the hole of Vander Kellen, the kick is up. It's long.
Vinny
it's good.
Wolf is hurt.
Oh no! But who else do they have?
Nobody.
He was the backup.
He was. Let's see
I'm
if
sure I put somebody in because unless
hopefully
they
didn't sign that guy from the Redskins that was like a 93.
Oh yeah, right.
Wait a minute, he was hurt, but he's still playing.
That's because they got nobody else.
Interesting. And of course, it's a perfect throw.
He's the man. Shoulder. Cecil Fielder on the return. The game is tied at 10 now. Broken shoulder.
I don't know what it is.
Oh. Of course, that name, a tribute to the YouTube channel itself, but it's a tribute to my father. May he rest in peace, the mighty Black Wolf.
Okay, I'm all over this. It better be... Oh! Incomplete.
That was 4th down, too.
Broncos are going to survive, I think. Unless I screw this up somehow.
2nd down and 6 as Will Height makes the catch for 4 yards. So I think for the Easter eggs starting in 64, I'll still do what I do, but each team has been assigned a theme after I named the Bengals and Buccaneers. So they're going to have some unknown Easter eggs. But when it comes to the teams that have the sports teams on them, it'll only be the stars. So you won't get a Will Height anymore. You'll only get the guys like Roger Maris and Gordie Howe. Chuck Lamson on the tackle. It's 3rd down and 5, and that should end the 3rd quarter.
That should end the game.
The game is tied at 10. So if the final here is 31-13, this can be a busy 4th quarter.
Yeah. One more kneel, and the Broncos will get to 9-5, which would be, what, 5 straight wins, I think.
That? Who would have expected that?
Who would have expected the 0-13 team to be as hard as the Chargers, Chiefs, and Patriots? Well, I didn't play the Patriots, but...
Well, you did, but you didn't.
Right. There it is. It's official. Broncos win 14-7.
Interception. Pinata's intercepted by Lee Calland. He breaks a tackle and he's gone. It will be a touchdown for Minnesota. Lee Calland on the pick 6.
Congratulations to the Denver Broncos. And they play Carolina next week, I think. Another semi-pro team.
Yeah, you and I get much easier schedules than John and Terrors do to end the season.
Well, the Patriots and 49ers schedules were really hard, but the Broncos...
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, the Broncos got a lot easier. Of course, I just had 3 straight playoff teams. And beat them all.
And the extra point by Cox is good. It is 17-10 Minnesota with 7:51 to go in the game. According to according to
the broadcast
stats,
here real quick.
Okay, that was Lee Calland's first pick 6 of the season.